we're listening.
Thank you so much.
Representative Tony Hwang, to be followed by Joe Cerasulo.
Dear Chairman Stillman and Fleischman, and all the esteemed members of the Education Committee, thank you for your work. My name is Tony Hwang, representative for the 134th District. I'd like to share with you a letter that I received from a recently retired teacher in my district named Roberta Stone regarding HB 5331, Teacher Evaluation Systems as relates to the fiat guidelines. Mrs. Stone is unable to attend due to a significant hip injury, and I hope that her statement will also represent the sentiments of so many of our quality teachers who are unable to attend today, because they're doing what they do best. They're teaching our kids in school. So I'll begin. Roberta Stone of Fairfield. When I was first introduced to the new teacher evaluation form about 4 years ago, my principal rolled it out as a help document for teachers to improve what they felt were weaknesses in their practices. For instance, if I felt that my classroom management needed improvement, then I would ask my evaluating administrator focused on that aspect of the evaluation when observing me. At the time, it felt like I was going to work with my evaluators to improve a weakness so as to make me a more effective teacher on a whole. 4 years later, in my retirement from teaching, this 12-page evaluation has become a subjective swashbuckling sword used to cut apart an educator with a stroke of a pen. If an administrator, for some random reason, doesn't like a teacher, this document can be used as a conduit to his or her dismissal and defeat the original purpose of improving a weakness where a teacher may be struggling. Case in point, I know of a gifted teacher who has been teaching for over 14 years now with solid and positive evaluations in her records, who is now in the danger of being dismissed because of the new evaluation system in place. Instead of helping a teacher improve in the area of weakness, the administrators use the evaluation as a weapon for dismissal. Checking off a box can be very subjective. It is much more useful and fair for the evaluator to write a reflection after viewing a lesson in order to laud the good part of a lesson and make suggestions on educators and ways to improve for the next time. This way, it is much more personal and thought-provoking than checking off a box devised by a group of people who have not been in today's classroom and expecting that the narrow choices of words next to a box adequately describes the pluses and minuses of a teacher. How cold and how impersonal and how ineffective. I hope the committee will allow me to indulge in finishing this. I compare the system in place to this. Suppose there is a corporation with a majority of effective and productive workers, and their employees who are slacking off and underperforming. What would the president of the company do? They wouldn't put everybody through an evaluation program. So what I'm going to do, in respecting the time and everybody here, I will shorten it. So her recommendation is the fact that low morales are negatively affecting the successes of our educational structure. Teachers' morale in this state is at an all-time low due to a subjective and unfair evaluation system. My suggestion is that this problem would be for evaluators to go back and write lengthy, engaged, explicit and thoughtful evaluations based not only on a set of generic educational skill sets that all teachers must master, but also comment on practices related to the specific area of expertise. This process makes sense to me. The testimony has been provided for you. I apologize for the time lag, and more importantly, I hope this reflects and offers some venue for teachers who are unable to be here to offer some of their viewpoints. Welcome for any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative, both for your time and for advocating on behalf of the constituent who couldn't be here. Are there questions from members of the committee? If not, Representative Ackert.
Thank you. And just a quick follow-up. So they're supporting, have they looked at this one evaluation process? Is it that they want it to be more of an engaged one evaluation through you, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I think the crux of the point is they have not been engaged in it. I think when we have talked about this hearing and talked about the rationale for this, which has been fabulous, is allowing the people behind me and the people in the spillover rooms to finally have an opportunity to be engaged as shareholders in the educational process. You know, when you talk to teachers, they love what they do. When you talk to parents, they love the fact that we have one of the greatest educational structures in the world that offers free education. The problem is you are making plans. Us as lawmakers are making decisions by fiat without incorporating the major shareholders, and that are the educators on the ground, the parents that are engaged with these kids. And we're putting in plans, however perfect, however well-intentioned. The best of systems will never work if you don't engage the people who are going to be impacted by it. So I think your question is a good point. It should be a starting point of discussions. But more importantly, it should incorporate these teachers. Because one of the negative effects of this system is not only the system's confusion. What you have potentially is you may have a system in which we are driving away some of the most talented, some of the most gifted, some of the most inspiring teachers to leave the profession. What you're going to have potentially is a system for 5 years, 10 years that meets standard checkpoints. Has an immigrant into this country, the greatness of this country is not the fact that we take the highest test, but the fact that we produce the most innovative, entrepreneurial people in the world that produce the best of the best, and it is not measured by a test score.
Representative Lavielle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just a quick remark. Representative Hwang, thank you so much for bringing that testimony from one of the teachers in your district. It's so valuable to hear from them, and of course it's unfortunate that we're here in the middle of the day, but there are a lot of people here. And as you know, we have 2 overflow rooms, and also there are a lot of people watching online. And so I think it's important for, as you said, for the real stakeholders to be able to contribute to this process. And I don't know how many people know that if they come later, they can still testify. And I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you for that point, and it does show, and it is a powerful statement, that people can have a say in the legislative democratic process, but it is inconvenient. The fact of the matter is I've heard from so many of the teachers that have written in testimony, but the fact of the matter is they can't come up here. And isn't that a shame that one of the major stakeholders, but I'm grateful that we have educators that sit on this panel, such as Representative Giuliano, who's engaged in teaching, and so many of the others that I may not know of. But the fact of the matter is, this is a day for people that are impacted by this. And what we're going to realize is the fact that it's not just the overfill rooms. There are so many people that care passionately about this because parents care about their kids' education. Teachers take pride in what they do, and they're not allowed to do what they're doing right now, and that's a shame.
Thank you, Representative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions of the witness? If not, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Next up is Joe Sarasulo, and as he approaches, I just want to